We are entering home improvement season. Better weather, longer days, and more schedule flexibility mean higher demand for home projects.
Yeah, plus you gotta make that time before it gets too hot around
That's
here.
true, yeah.
Joining us now to help us out with some great renovation tips to save time and money, home care expert at Angie, Mallory Micetich. Good morning, Mallory. How you doing?
Good morning. Great to be with y'all.
Good. Hey, how can we set ourselves up for a successful, low-stress home renovation?
Yeah, it is a great question, especially as we see May as the start of the home improvement season. You know, we recently talked to a whole bunch of homeowners at Angie and asked them, hey, did you guys feel stressful or stressed or anxious about this process? And so many of them said, especially leading up to and during the renovation, they felt overwhelmed or anxious. There's a couple things you can do, though, to really reduce that stress and make this an enjoyable process. Plan ahead, know when to hire a pro versus DIY, do your research and ask a lot of questions, set a realistic budget, communicate with your contractor regularly, and do it at the pace that's best for you.
Yeah, and what are some of your budgeting tips for major renovations and remodels? What can you tell us to that end?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a great question. Budgeting and finance cost the most anxiety for those people that took on major renovations or remodels. Especially now with material costs and supply chain issues, it is so important to set a clear budget, talk to your contractor, and ask and understand things like permitting fees and additional costs that you might incur along the process. Also, don't forget about materials and labor and take that into account when determining your final budget. We always recommend including a buffer of about 10% to cover any unexpected costs. Even the best contractor doesn't necessarily know what's beneath your floor or under your walls, and unexpected things are going to come up, whether it's electrical, plumbing, structural, or pest issues. So that added buffer is going to be key. And then I also recommend putting together a list ahead of time, thinking about what are my must-haves and what are things that are maybe nice to have, but not 100% necessary. And if they do get dropped, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about choosing something that's maybe going to bring some value to your home as opposed to maybe just something you want?
Right.
Absolutely. You know, this has been a really interesting period of time for us. We've seen that pre-pandemic, almost all types of DIY or all types of renovation projects and DIY projects were really done for ROI. And over these past couple of years, people switched. They're doing it for enjoyment to get the most utility out of their home. But absolutely think about the return on investment. We like to think about, like, look at your overall home costs and the type of projects that are going to really going to be that great return on investment are kind of within the kind of scope of your home. Let's say you've got a $300,000 home and you want to do a new kitchen. Kitchens always pay off. Kitchens and baths are some of those wow things that when a prospective home buyer comes into their home and they see something new, that equals dollar signs. However, for a $300K house, $100,000 kitchen renovation does not make much sense and isn't going to be a good return on your investment. But the best resource, if you have some questions about ROI and what makes the most sense to do, is always to talk to a local contractor or a local real estate agent. Both of those pros are going to know what is going to be best for that home market.
Mallory, what's the gentlest way to tell your husband it's time to call a pro? I mean, at what point say, okay, look, babe, we have tried this. We're spending more than, like, what are the steps there? And when do you know it's time to call a pro?
A good question is this conversation happening in an emergency room or before you get to the emergency room? But no.
Right.
So many of those stories we hear all the time. But at Angie, we say there's three things. Think about time, tools, and talent. This is a time to look at your spouse and say, honey, you don't have the time. You certainly don't have the tools. And I love you, but you might not have the talent to do this job. If you don't have all three of those things, it is a great time to hire in a pro who can get the job done on budget, within the time, and they've got the expertise to do it really well, so that project is going to last for the long haul.
Yeah, we don't want to use our house as a science experiment.
Right.
You know, you end up without a sink for 6 years by accident. You know, I mean, we've seen it happen.
We've seen it happen.
And worse. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Mallory, for your time, though. Really appreciate it. That was fun.
Mallory Micetich.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You have a good day.